Screw Tube, as Sister be saying, that's talking about reparations on a daily basis. Yeah, there's some folks down in the streets, and yeah, you might have the local states talking about it now, but a lot of that shit is just really a grift. Over here in New Jersey, you got that. Look up A938 New Jersey. A is in Apple 938 New Jersey. These folks over here is promising the Latinos that they are included in our reparations vote. Oh hell no! I'm voting to close the border because ain't nobody candidate wise over here is running on a reparations ticket. You know, I tried to speak to Miss Amani Oakley that was running for Senate or whatever the case be. You know, North Native, she been out there stomping, you know, for Black Lives Matter or whatever the case be, and just, pulling up on, rallies and marches in general. So, I know she a good sister, but hey, I'm showing you all this reparations information, and it's like, yeah, you say you got a reparations, uh, you know what I mean, legislation to run to get the people to get your vote or whatever the case be. But the language, mama, it's the language. You can't promise Latinos or Hispanics anything. They ain't going through shit here. So it's like it make no sense for these people to try to advocate to give these people our reparations. But we already know the reason why they're doing that is because come after 2024 or 2026, which will be the next midterms, and then 2028, which would be the next presidential election, they might not even need our fucking vote. You know what I'm saying? Because we already know they letting these illegals vote for them. Hence, for a while, a lot of dead folks' social security numbers be popping up at these election polls all of a sudden. Damn, this person been dead since the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. How the hell is you voting? It's these folks that's coming in the country, man. So, my whole objective is, or, some of our objective is, not to vote, boycott our vote. Voting is an exchange, but hey, we're gonna have to get that up to close this border on some real shit because I don't think a lot of our folks understand that's in like the South, obviously, maybe some parts of the Midwest. It's only seemed like the Northeast tri-state areas, which I'm in Jersey, West Coast, and obviously Texas, understand what's going on with this border issue. We've been dealing with these folks for 35 years, different cultures and nationalities, immigrants, whatever. But hey, we already know America is not a nation of immigrants. You know what I mean? They keep plugging that quote to make it seem like it is such, but it is really not. So, when I was at the Juneteenth reparations march, hopefully y'all can hear me over that siren going off, but I was at the Juneteenth reparations march. It wasn't nothing but Latinos down there. There was hardly any black folk down there. And the black folks that was down there, a lot of them were Pan Africanists. And some of the black folks that, a lot of them were African. And a lot of the black Negro folks that are American that I know of, they cosplaying the Pan African thing. So it's like, damn. And I'm out here telling folks, like, yo, this ain't the real Juneteenth colors. Reparations don't include Latinos and all this other stuff. And you got a bunch of white folks out there screaming reparations too. It's like, what the hell is going on, man? So we got to do a better job of protecting our shit, man. I'll yield there. Back up.
Let me just say this part here. Do we? I mean, we've been voting for this party for 60 years. Isn't it time that we actually try to break the party? Like, I just this is where I'm stuck at right here. Like I said, if we're talking about going to, and I believe that there is power in terms of a split vote that half, you know, if you could somehow get half of the black people that were going to vote Republican or whatever, fine. But my thing is too that the Republican side is so saturated with white supremacy and whatnot that even if you were to go and say we got 30% of the black vote to actually start voting Republican, is a fringe Republican going to actually let you pass any kind of legislation that's going to actually benefit black people as a whole or whatever? Will we be better off, like we say? I know we talk about voting on the block. Well, hell, we've been voting on the block for Democrats for 60 some odd years. Will we be better by just breaking this party in half and just letting them suffer and just go down and just getting wiped out for a couple elections or whatever till they finally got the idea like, hey, we mean business. Ray, I'm gonna let Ray and OG go because I don't want to hog it up, but just food for thought. Like, how much longer are we going to continue to back these people? And like I say, we can't. People say, and I hear this argument all the time. Well, we used to be Republicans. Yeah, we were Republicans because of what Lincoln supposedly freeing the slaves back in the Civil War time. So that's why we were Republicans. But in terms of modern times or whatever, it hasn't been. since FDR, we've been voting pretty much Democrat. So why would the Republicans, who for 70 some odd years haven't done anything in terms of, you know, trying to get the black vote, what would make them change at this point in time? Ram, I'll let you go ahead and unmute your mic. Everybody in the space, please go ahead and tweet out the space as well. Please go ahead and tweet out the space. Go ahead and tweet out the space. We got some names in here. We got Volvo Ransom here. We got Black Alpha Network. We got some of everybody up in here, so please definitely want to hear you guys' conversation tonight. Definitely just want to hear the mindset of Black America in terms of this. Like I said, we're starting to get to the point on a smaller scale. I'm not going to sit up here and say on a large scale because most Black people are still going to go out there and vote, but we're starting to get a fraction of us that's saying, hey man, is this really worth the actual time that we put in? Is this really worth our time to still get screwed around by the same old thing? What are either one of these parties going to offer, and how can we, the same way the Asians and other people who don't have our numbers, how can we get a bang for our buck for our vote? Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace to everybody in the room. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
What up?
What's going on?
Who the hell was that? Oh, it must be this fool talking about toxic black or whatever.
Yeah.
Wait. Don't kick him out yet. Don't kick him out, right? Because I want to hear.
I hit the button, bro.
Yeah. Next time, don't let. Yeah, hold on. Next time, I want to hear some of what these trolls got to say. So let me go ahead and kick them out. So I just want to hear what they said because I didn't even know who that was at first. But next time, let me go ahead and actually give them the boot. But Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
No, I got that Glock head trigger on the joints. My bad, dog. No, I'm saying. Hey, what up, Ray, with the two-way information? Let's go, man. No, sir.
Go ahead, Ray, unmute your mic.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear
you. We have a good sector of our community that is vote blue no matter who. We got to start shaming them. We have to hold a mirror up to them and say, look what you're doing to our community by constantly voting blue no matter what these people do. I'm not saying I like the Republicans, but we definitely need to do something about the Democrats. They're supposed to be the party that's supposed to be there looking out for our best interests. Because I'm only 36, and I haven't seen that in my 36 years of life. So at some point, enough has to be enough. I land my plane.
Okay. OG, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace to the room. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, for me, dear brother, I feel like that we need to hold our vote collectively. But then I know a lot of our people want to probably not vote blue, but then vote for the Republicans just because, because they feel the power in the vote. I'm not discrediting anybody that how they want to do it. That's up to them. But my take is that I'm gonna hold my vote. I'm gonna chill out and hold my vote. But then this is just the beginning of we boycotting voting. But then there's other things collectively as Black Americans that we're gonna do eventually collectively about boycotting not just our vote, but also other things that's gonna hurt this country and let them feel the pain that we've been feeling throughout centuries. We're gonna boycott just about everything, brother. And all we need is each other. We don't need nobody else. We need each other, and to where we can gain the ground of empowerment. I'm gonna land there.
Thank you, brother. If you guys get a chance, I want you to look in the jumbotron up there. The very first one on the right hand side is the actual map that he actually sent me about the actual where these flyers have been dispersed at in the nation right here. I'm gonna read real quick what he sent me in a DM. So if you guys get a chance, you'll see red dots, you'll see black dots, you'll see green dots. So let me go ahead and get to that DM real quick and just see if I can and just see exactly what he was talking about in terms of the actual what that they actually been distributed at and whatnot. Because I think he said it's something like they've already distributed like 10 to 11,000. He's saying that the green dot, these dots represent every city and state where flyers have have been ordered. The green dots represent some of the cities that surprised me. Black dots represent where congressmen and women receive the flyers. We're starting to send them to politicians because there's so little help from this movement that we're trying to get them to believe that there's more than out there that actually is. So he's saying that he said that so far he estimates between 10 to 11,000 are on the streets right now. So that's the amount of actual flyers that they've sent out in terms of trying to actually get the actual, I guess people to actually see how many, the actual number of flyers that they've handed out and whatnot. I see pictures on the actual spot where he sent out flyers and people are actually posing with the pictures and this and that. And like my thing is, how can we as a group, because we're one of the few groups where actually, in terms of if we want to be honest here, we voted more than Hispanics, we voted more than Asians, we voted more than any other group in this country outside of white people. So how can we get our vote to actually matter when we've been voting? And I know a lot of times people say, "Well, you didn't vote." It's always like black people, like we're the only group in the country that don't vote. You got more white people who don't go and vote during these elections, and you have even black people. But yet somehow it's always only black people who don't turn out and vote or whatever. Like, how can we get our people to go ahead and to use what we have, so to speak, or whatever? I don't understand that we vote more than everybody else. I forgot since the 1960s how many thousands of black people, I mean thousands all throughout the nation that are in office, that have been elected to political office. Yeah, we still like the fourth in terms of, if you actually look at our power, we're probably like the fourth or fifth most powerful minority group in this country now. We went from being second to now we behind Hispanics, we behind Asians. So exactly, and like I say, Asians didn't come to power because of their vote. The Jewish community, it's not their voting that gives them power. It's the Arabs don't have all of these gas stations and all these other things in this country because they're such a powerful voting bloc. Let's be for real. The LGBTQ is no huge voting bloc. So what makes these people vote or whatever more powerful than black people? Is it the vote that makes it more powerful, or is it something else? Clarence, go ahead, unmute your mic.
Brother, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little bit low, brother. Can you get it just a little bit louder if you can?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'll try to yell. But I appreciate the space, appreciate the conversation. First, I want to say you should never shame anybody for how they vote, right? Number one, voting is a right, and it's also the right to choose not to vote if you like. That's your right. You do what you want to do with that. So if you want to vote Republican, if you want to vote Democrat, if you want to be independent, if you want to sit it out, that's your right. And don't let anybody ever shame you in doing that, right? But I think in this pivotal moment in time where we are in this country, I think it's very important that we value our vote and we sit it out, right? I look at it from this standpoint. Let's look at it from a sports standpoint. When LeBron James was a free agent, every team in the NBA was vying for his service. They laid out the red carpet. This team came in, made promises. This team came in, made promises with a contract and things of that nature. And he finally decided, based on whatever team laid out the best package for him. He had no allegiance to any particular team. He looked at what was in his best interest and his family's interest. And so I think as black people understand, as you said, we vote in higher rates than any other ethnicity, right? Hispanics don't vote the clip that we do. Asians don't vote the clip that we do. Arguably, white folks don't vote the clip that we do. So when people say black folks not turning out, that is a damn lie, right? But we should look at our vote from a free agency standpoint. Sit it out and let both parties earn our vote. We have no contract with the Democratic Party. We have no contract with the Republican Party, right? We have our own best interests at heart. And so whoever wants to woo us, who wants to lay out the best package, who wants to speak the language that we need for our best interests going forward, that's what we should go for. Not for a long time. It's election by election. We may decide next election we'll go Republican. The next election it may be Democrat. Whoever's laying out the best package. But we have no allegiance to anybody but our people and our best interest. So I say that we should sit this one out and let both parties earn our vote going forward. Now, man,
Clarence, let me ask you one quick question before you leave, and this is something that we hear all the time. Let me give a shout out to OG. OG, thank you for your contribution on Cash App. Let me ask you this one quick question, and then I'm gonna kick it to you. I am woke. When you hear people say that, hey, you know, we have a huge immigration problem, and I think we all agree with that. We have a huge immigration problem. We understand with immigrants coming over here that they're going to take resources, jobs, education, whatever it is, you know, it's whatever that's allotted to you. You're going to have to split and share, which we've been doing. The civil rights movement was for black people, yet you had to split that up, and it got split between white women, minorities, and everybody else, and you got the crumbs that was left. But what do you hear when people say with that? You know, we need to go ahead and vote for the simple fact that we need to go ahead and we need to close the actual borders. So that means that by closing the borders, you have to vote. You have to vote red or whatever. Like I know you heard that before. Just what's your opinion about that?
There was a sister. I think she's in space right now. I can't think of that sister's name. She held a space earlier today, kind of talking about that particular point. But I think as it relates to the best interest of black folks, we do need to close the borders. Absolutely, because illegal immigration is harming our community directly, right? When you talk about lowering the value of jobs, right? When you talk about lots of things I don't want to get into, but absolutely, we got to close the borders. And the only party that is talking about closing the borders, right, and making this country safe, and also valuing citizenship, right? I see the sisters in the speaker's box now. The Republican Party is very explicit about that, and that is something that is in our best interest. So if you want to vote based on that, listen, people vote based on issues, right? And so if that issue is important to you and your family, then by all means, vote based on that issue. But I think that's a very important issue that we need to consider, right? Because honestly, I'll say this and I'll shut up. There is a cultural war going on between black folks and brown folks. There is no black and brown coalition. Don't be fooled by that, right? And so brown folks, and I wish them no ill will, but they will become the majority soon, and they will begin to outnumber us, and they will begin to take our seats in these local and national political seats. And so we need to establish ourselves. And one way we can do that to prevent that from happening is closing the borders. I'm in the plan.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. We're gonna get to I am woke, and we're gonna get to the reparationist perspective as well, Angela. So I am woke. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace, light, and reparations, family. I definitely agree with Brother Clarence there. You know, I just had to add some stuff to the Jumbotrons because, I've been looking into this and doing research for pretty much since I went to the first inauguration of Obama and stood out there in the freezing cold and was like, something is just not right with this. Something is just not right. But, the best way to put it in regards to voting is that, we have to look at voting from a business standpoint. Voting is a business transaction. Same way we walk into Walmart or any of these other stores. I just happen to be sitting at Walmart right now waiting for these foods. But we go into these stores and we give them our money and we expect something in return. Your vote has a monetary value upon it, and that's how you should look at it. And when you give it up, you should expect something in return. Not not these nothing burgers, these empty promises, and everything else that we've been served. And if you look in the Jumbotron, 58 years, 80-90% of the black votes have been going to the Democrats, and we've received absolutely nothing. How much longer are we going to let this go on? Now, I'm not telling anybody who to vote for. Again, you vote for whoever you want. But the brother Clarence said you vote for what's in the best interests of your family. Is that your immediate family, or is that your black American family? Because when I go to vote who's in the best interest of my black American family. That's how I do. Because whoever is put in that office is going to affect all of us, period, across across the board. And the immediate family and your immediate issues are nothing compared to what we're all going through. And if we're looking at each other as a collective and we're leaning on each other for the support and the hope and the faith, then we should be voting as a collective and not just for our immediate family. So again, I say this to say because I say this to say this because of the fact that we are in trouble, family. Seriously. And we have to get on board and put something together and make it happen like yesterday. Like seriously. If you take some time and jump off of Twitter, off social media and dig and do the research and read what's going on and what's being said, like we are in trouble. We as a group of people in this country, we are in serious trouble. Seriously. We are in the fourth industrial revolution and the door is closing. The door is closing on us. And we're in the spaces and we're having the conversations, which is great. I appreciate it. I love it. I've learned so much since I've been on here. But we need to be just doing a little bit more than that. Well, because we're being attacked top, bottom, left, right. And this is why I jumped on board with the flyers. And I took the flyers with me to New York, to the Rock the Bells concert and handed them all out. Whatever I had left over, I handed out in Charlotte. I'm ready to drop some more money in his brother's Cash App so he can send me some more. Whatever you can do, you need to be doing, and you need to be doing it immediately because, again, time is running out. Time is running out on everything. Now, we're at the bottom of the totem pole. So where do you think we gotta go next? If we keep allowing these things to go happen, we're gonna be under the totem pole. You see what I'm saying? We ain't gonna have no stance, no place, nowhere. You know, we went from second class citizens to being fourth and fifth class citizens, family. Come on, man. We out here, we built this shit, and you got people you got these immigrants coming in here and they're running for office and they're winning? Are you serious? This is not a game. This is not funny. This is not play. We need to stand up and do something immediately. All this infight and all this other shit with man, that shit is not necessary. My grandmother taught me, rest her soul. She was 92 when she passed away 2 years ago. She would have been 94. Her thing that she always said to me all the time: take care of home first. Take care of home first. We're over here losing a lot of battles, and we sit here worried about, this nigga going to jail or this celebrity doing this. And it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. And as I sit back and I'm flicking through all these social media platforms that I'm on, and the only thing I can say is that literally, like, if we don't get this shit together within the next, I'm probably maybe even extending it out too far, 3 years, we're fucking doomed. Like, we're doomed. We literally are doomed, especially when you look at the generation of children that are out here now, because that's what I always see. I see them a lot. All the time. We are doomed. So we need to figure out something, whatever it's going to be, come together under the B1 period and make it happen. Because again, the clock is running out. I promise you. I promise you it's running out.
Definitely appreciate that, sister. I didn't know that you actually had you were one of the ones that actually got the fly. So you say you was up there in New York passing them out as well, huh?
Yes, sir. I went to the LL Cool J's Rock the Bell concert. I spent 5 days up there. And he had the concert for one day, the festival for one day. I handed out 100 flyers. He gave me 100 flyers. I think I came home with like 20. And the 20 that I have left, I'll handle those out in Charlotte. I'm not playing no games. Like, whatever it takes, whatever about this life, whatever we need to do, I'm in, and I want to be a part of it and make it happen because we can't continue like this, family. I'm so serious. I'm so serious. You just don't understand. I'm 46 years old, and I've been a black activist for 17 years, and I've stepped back, but I stepped back to help other people, and it's just like it's so hard. We such a hard people to deal with. We such a hard people to get through to, but we have no choice. At this point, I'm more on just unifying with like minds, and let's push from there. Wherever we got to do, wherever we got to be, wherever we got to go, I'm trying to get there. So just do your part. Everybody's obligated to do their part. Just all I ask is just do your part. You are needed. We need you.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate it. Angela, I know you've been covering this subject quite a bit. Be glad to hear your opinion on it. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yes, thank you so much, Newstoter, for blessing my space with your presence and sharing your mic. Yeah, I agree with the sister that just spoke. We are really about congregating with like minds and people that know that staying home is reckless right now. And voting Democrat is reckless right now. And unlike the sister that sees us with 2 to 3 more years, I'm here to tell you, family, we are out of time. I've been sharing in my space. I've only been there for 3 days because I'm accustomed to being on ScrewTube where I'm being shadow banned. And that's a big challenge for those of us in these social media streets. They really want to silence people like myself and you guys who are very radical with this message and sounding the alarm. We have to understand that we are dealing with a people that lack political education, and it's our job to educate them. And it's our job, as the sister said, blacktivists, to teach and educate and advocate and pass out flyers and do whatever it is you're called to do. As a co-founder of the former ADOS movement, I've had my share of hard knocks. I've had my share of name calling, leveled at my head. I've had a whole entire super PAC destroyed. I've been through a lot, and only the strong will survive this movement. And I'm happy to have survived the knocks I've gotten. But one of the things that remains very sound for me, that I know I, like you guys, have been commissioned to do this work. And I feel like everybody has to find a lane and get in it. And I'm grateful to be able to weaponize the social media spaces. That's my lane. You're not going to really find me in the streets marching. That's not what I'm called to do. I'm called to use my intellect and my voice to reach the masses and to leverage the masses to help my message, my Freedmen voter strategy in particular, to go viral. I've been instrumental in working with CJAC here in the state of California to get lineage-based reparations. I've been instrumental in helping to get data disaggregation, instrumental in helping to get Newsom to sign the AB 3121 study for reparations. And all that's well and good, but it's too long off. They're not even going to have proposals until 23. And then it's got to make its way through the Senate. And then Newsom. Like, it's a lot more involved. And so, when I appeal to my inner Christ to ask what's the solution, it's the vote. And we're out of time. And it's not just the vote, you see. We became the bottom as the anchor of this country's capitalism because we've been voting blue no matter damn who to our own people's peril. I mean, how much more plain can you get than Kabami saying on the debate stages or, en route to the presidential nod that she had to fold on because she was fourth in her own state of California because of the reckless things she's done to undermine and to further oppress American freedmen here in the state. How much more plain could she get than to be in national spaces from the campaign trail telling us she wasn't going to do anything specifically for us? How much more plain could Joe Crow be than to tell us nothing is going to fundamentally change? I mean, really, I don't get how that turned out 86% of our electorate who thought it a novel idea to unseat an overt racist in office of 4 years with no record against American freedmen, with racist plural in office a combined 60 years, with records against American freedmen several city blocks long. Joe Crow's author of the 94 crime bill being one of the worst. And now, instead of giving us an end to qualified immunity, he's sinking $37 billion with a B more dollars into the militarized race soldiers to come into our communities, which are predominantly very, very poor, as bottom caste in the country our ancestors built with their lives, to, execute us even more by state sanction. And so that's what I drill down on in my space. Every day, you could catch me there at 1 o'clock for now. Until my daughter goes to college, I generally go in that space while she's at track practice. But I had to pray over it when we were led by people who are grifting off of reparations to turn up to the polls to vote dim down the ballot. And now we are in the fight of our lives to prevent from becoming the permanent bottom caste. So do know there's a lot of grifters in this thing here. And the ones that are working ain't on here grifting. They're not the ones with the largest subscriber bases, none of that. And so we're the ones that are accused of being the grifters when we're the ones putting in work while everybody else runs around taking credit for the work. I don't see none of these people with the largest subscriber bases at these meetings. They turn up on one phone call that I've been on for an entire year to try and take credit for a movement that they're not moving on. They're raising funds for things like museums and bullshit. When we've got reparations candidates running that need that money. But that's what the people are choosing to do, following the grifters of this reparations movement, who claim that they're the ones that are doing it. They ain't doing nothing. They placed one phone call in the whole year that we've been fighting down here. But I digress. I've got a Freedman voter strategy. And this, I am telling you who to vote for. I can't tell you a specific name because I'm not in your state. But I'm absolutely telling you that you got nothing coming where tangibles are coming from. And it's reckless of these spaces, these new black media with larger subscriber bases than mine, to be encouraging our people to suppress their own vote by staying home. Because if the Democrats nor the Repugnant clans are offering reparations, you're going to choose to sit this one out. Well, let me help you understand what's going to happen when you do that. You leave the fate of our lineage in the hands of immigrants who are seeking to replace us and Crayola white supremacists who hate us down to our baby toe. As you mentioned prior, we are absolutely fourth or fifth class in the country of our ancestors. And thankfully, those of us who are fighting in the contemporary grassroots reparations movement are sounding the alarm as much as we can. You see, I've got the farthest reach in these social media streets. I'm over here now where we're down from 17 to 3%, and these illegal and legal migrants alike are like 50% of the population or greater in the state of California. You'd be hard pressed to go into a black community and see people that look like you. It's almost like you want to go up and give them a hug because nothing but Hispanics run this. And of course, they've got 2-year free community college, which is going to give them a leg up on our beautiful brown children that are predominantly in the detention centers and juvenile halls and foster care. That's what's happened to our kids down here. If you're not still rotting away in prison after being arrested for a nickel bag of funk while the state turns a profit. So all this voting blue, no matter who, all this being misled by the grifters of the reparations movement is how we got here. We've been doing this since FDR, and no one's thought to strategize and to pivot akin to our ancestors who didn't even have social media. But they had the wherewithal to leave the Repugnant Clan Party for the Democratic Party for civil rights. The problem is they got a few little goodies for the boomers who just want to die in peace, while the Gen X and the millennials are dying on the vine because folks want to boycott the vote. Folks want to sit up here and not weaponize the vote. Folks want to stay home and be politically lazy. And so my Freedmen voter strategy consists of only voting closed border candidates and reparations candidates, party be damned. It ain't a party thing. It's a Freedmen flourishing thing. That's how I'm voting out here in the state, and I don't have a snowball's chance, but that's how I'm going to vote because I want the Democrats to see me partake in bringing them to their knees, not just for midterms, but for several election cycles. Because they are how we got here, and they are who owes us. Maybe after they can't have this thing for several election cycles, they'll be ready to start cutting the checks over multiple generations and direct depositing into our accounts akin to the way they did this pandemic money, which is the second way to wipe us completely off the monopoly board. You ain't got to wait till 2053. We're already a wealthless group. We were a wealthless group when they started talking that nonsense back in the gap. Anytime whites and immigrants share hundreds of trillions of household dollars as compared to our 3 trillion, 10% of which share in 2.93 trillion, the other 90% of us that descend from U.S. chattel slavery sharing in less than 700 billion since COVID. So all this economic boycott, folks ain't got money to spend like that. Everything we do is on credit. So that's a lie. That sitting up here boycotting is going to make a difference. Yeah, you should definitely buy black if you can find any blacks in business. So just know that when you turn up to these polls voting blue, no matter damn who, you are voting for your line's peril. I'll end there. Thank you.
Okay, I want to say one thing before I give the mic to Freedman. Now, I consider myself part of the new black media myself. I don't have tens of thousands of followers and subscribers and stuff like that. That's true, but I do consider myself part of the new black media. I don't tell anybody how they should vote or if they shouldn't vote. To me, that's a personal decision, whatever. I do try to get the conversation flowing. I want to know exactly what's the game for black people by voting red or blue or whatever. So I just want to let that be known that I am part of the new black media. I consider myself, even though I'm a much smaller entity, still consider myself part of the new black media. And in terms of some of the major new black media people, I have not heard them just come out and say don't vote at all. I have heard them say that if there's no tangibles on board, you be just as well not to vote as you would voting or whatever. If you're not getting offered anything, if there's nothing in return that's going to benefit you and your community, basically don't go out and just cast your vote like we've been doing for generations. So I just kind of want to clear that up just a little bit, because I've never heard them just come out and say, well, hey, this midterm election, everybody stay home and don't vote. The presidential election in 2024, everybody stay home and don't vote. They have said that is an option, and that is also a possible game plan, as well as if you're not going to be given anything, or you can use your vote to actually work into your benefit. So I just kind of want to just clear that up just a little bit, Angela. Like I say, I haven't heard any of the major people. None of them say that, hey, don't vote. Whatever you guys do, stay home and don't vote.
If I can respond,
Go ahead.
uh, when you say that, you know, no tangibles, no vote, and you're pushing that kind of narrative, in my humble opinion, you're being reckless. And when you don't insist on your Freedmen voter strategy, let folks decide what they do with that information. Um, when you don't, when you understand how out of time we are, I don't have time to mince words. Yes, I'm a part of the new black media too, but I go straight down the middle with it. And like I said, those who want to partake in the Freedmen voter strategy, at least let them know that's an option. But most folks don't even know what the protest vote is. They don't even know, they have no clue. And so when I'm in spaces and I'm speaking on the mic and I'm blessing the mic, I don't really believe we have options. Because I see how what we've been doing since FDR is no longer working. So yes, we're both a part of the new black media, but I'm saying those were bigger platforms. When I hear you say no tangibles, no vote, that is telling the people to stay home. That's the subtext as far as I'm concerned. And I believe it's reckless because we leave the fate of our line in the hands of, like I said, immigrants who seek to replace us and Crayola white supremacists who hate us. We didn't get here. My whole thing is we got here because we kept following the status quo of our boomers, of our moms, our dads. That's how we got on the bottom. And we don't get off the bottom playing nice about what needs to happen for several election cycles. So you will never hear me say no tangibles, no vote, because the Democrats lie about tangibles and the Republicans don't owe us. That's why I go hard in the paint for my Freedmen voter strategy. But folks are still free to exercise whatever they choose to do. I can't make them vote the way I intend to vote, but I can sure share with them A, what's going to happen if you don't turn out the vote. B, what's going to happen if you continue to vote blue no matter damn who. It's everywhere in the data. And I talk about it in 304 videos on my screw tube that they've locked me out of right now. And, I'm just bringing that truth about what's going to happen to us if we don't weaponize our vote and socialize the suffering, because when these Democrats have a trifecta, we're the only group in distress. I'll end there. Thank you for allowing me to share.
No problem. Freeman, I know you got your hand up. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Evening. Salute to the host, Newstoter. Salute to the co-host, Mr. Pipe. And salute to the Freedman family in this space. Thoughts on growing grassroots. I'm a little late. I heard us talking about the vote and how to vote. I tell people how to vote because this is about power. It's a game of power. I believe in free will, so if people choose not to vote because there's no tangibles, no vote, that is what it is. I'm fine with that. We're not getting what we want. So when we show them that we won't even participate in the politics and we take to the streets and do uprisings, I think that's powerful in itself. We have done that with the whole, after the public lynching of George Floyd, we have done that. We've seen that we can apply pressure in other ways than the politics, and history has shown that as well. When Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, we turned up. We didn't vote about anything, and be that as it may, the Civil Rights Act was passed due to that white supremacist racist Lyndon B. Johnson, but it was passed, due to us turning up. It had nothing to do with votes. But when it comes to political consequences for the Democrats and the Democrats, whatever you want to call them, I think a political consequence as far as voting would be to vote Republican. I will tell you why. The collective of the Republicans are conservative. And believe it or not, the American freedmen is conservative as a collective. Believe it or not, American freedmen were very pro-family, um, and things of that nature. We are very anti-LGBT agenda. A lot of us, especially at the grassroots, we are anti-illegal immigration. Um, we are pro 2A, and believe it or not, when a Republican is in office, God damn it, we get activated. What happened last time a Republican was in office? The freedmen got activated. Hell, America got activated. Now that Jim Crow Joe Biden is in office, people went to sleep. So I like seeing our American freedmen family activated, taking the streets, and being more involved in the politics due to this overt white supremacist racism, anti-black racism, anti-freedmen racism, and European supremacy. So I will vote in that fashion as far as weaponizing my vote, as our sister Nirvana says, to vote Republican as a political consequences, and it's for all of those reasons I explained. Um, Anti-LGBT. Now we know the Republicans don't give a damn about the American freedom, but their own political interests are aligned with ours. We are anti-LGBT agenda, anti-illegal immigration, anti-immigration, and giving illegal immigrants or undocumented aliens citizenship rights and privileges. We are pro 2A because we understand we are the ultimate victims of white supremacy. And one of the best ways to counter that is to be able to protect ourselves individually, to protect our family, to protect our community, and to protect our tribe, the American Freedmen tribe. And like I said, when a Republican is in office, the freedmen get activated. And when the freedmen get activated, America gets activated. As we seen with the public lynching of George Floyd, as we seen with the lynching of Breonna Taylor, and many, many more. So I think that even trickles down to the entire world, actually. America and the American freedmen, we lead the way. The greatest natural resource of America is its people. And when I say its people, I most definitely, especially mean the American freedmen. So when we talk about that, I guess that's my thoughts on growing grassroots. I wanted to ask, I guess, specifically, who are the grassroots that we're talking about? Um, Cultivating the consciousness instead of cultivating the goons. That's my thing. But I guess we can talk about that because that's where the real power is. If we're talking about power, it would have to be state power. And I support the back to down south strategy or controlling a state via politics. I land my plane. Freedman on motherfucking deck.
Freeman, you said something original. I'm going to kick it to you too. I just want to kind of backtrack a little bit. I know you were saying we get activated when we have a Republican in office, but we got activated in '68 too, was more than maybe any other time in the history of this country. When you had King get killed and Johnson was the president, and you had over 100 some odd cities that was burning all throughout the nation at the time.
Yes, sir. And that was the point to when people don't agree with us not voting. I think it's powerful in saying no. There's power in saying no and not participating in a political process because when the people's bellies are empty, the revolution starts. And when our freedman brother, Gil Aaron Scott, said the revolution will not be televised, he was talking about the revolution in your mind. The revolution in your mind cannot be televised because when you elevate your consciousness, like someone like Malcolm X, you start to think better, and when you think better, you do better. When you know better, you do better. If you knew better, you do better. And that's what happened with Malcolm X. When his mind was revolutionized, he started to organize. And when you organize and you turn up after our second Freeman King gets assassinated, that's when you see the uprise from the masses, the critical masses, whomever, the American freedom. It wasn't us getting involved in politics that applied the pressure and put the fear of God into Lyndon B. Johnson. In fact, what started the American Revolutionary War, or what was a major factor? No representation or no taxation without representation. That was a motherfucking riot. That was a riot. The people were not happy and they turned up. So it's no different with us. We have options. It's a matter of us using them and organizing collectively to do so. So I agree with both strategies. No tangible, no vote. And as a political consequence to the Democrats, because we got to put them to their knees and impose our freedom will on them. Political consequence, and we will be benefited directly. We vote Republican. Not that we give a damn about Republicans, but we will be reaping those benefits as far as the things that I pointed out. Does that make sense, Newstoter?
Yeah, that makes sense, brother. We're gonna go ahead and move it. No doubt. I appreciate you coming into the conversation as well too. Like I said, I can definitely understand both sides of it. One thing I will say, and I'm gonna kick it to original and Black Alpha, is that I'm interested to see that if we did vote red, exactly because, like you say, the Republicans, they're with us on a number of issues. You're right. Traditionally, Black people have been on the conservative side. I've seen some of the Republican presidents in my lifetime. I was very young when Reagan was the president. I've seen both of the Bushes. They have not been all too keen. You know, Reagan was one of the main ones that go with that whole welfare queen and this and that too. So I would love it when I hear some of these Republican commentators and these Republican politicians and stuff. It's almost like a deer in headlights when you start talking about reparations. So that's something that they never mention. That's something they don't even want to talk about. Just like the Democrats don't either. So it'd be kind of interesting to see because they have definitely been for the last 50 years. They've been you have an overt racism and you have a covert. So they definitely been out with their racism. While the Democrats try to smile in your face and make you believe that everything is cool or whatever, the other ones don't have a problem calling you a nigga to your face, while the other one calls you a nigga to your back. So I would be very, very interested to see exactly how they would go about with the reparation thing because, yeah, I'm all about closing the border and this and that too. But there's other pressing issues in the Black community as well, along with immigration, that I want to see what Republicans would go to when you talk about trying to do something for Black people because they've had ample opportunities to do stuff for Black people over the past 50 years. They've held the office probably more than the Democrats. And when they get in office, they haven't particularly been too fond of the colored folks. So I would definitely love to hear exactly if we did back them, exactly what they were going to do with their rabid fan base, their rabid voters and stuff. They're the people that fund them and everything else. The Rush Limbaughs of the world who's dead, and the Sean Hannity's and those type of people that help really push this medium racism out there also even more than even the Democrats, because we know the Democrats, they like to pretend they are friends and they like to pretend they're liberals and they pretend they're good guys and they like to party with us and this and that, while the other one don't even pretend. The other one don't even try to put up that. But I'm gonna get back to you because I see we got a few hands up.
Yeah,
I just want to say
just 2 quick points. The Republicans owe us too, and they have legislated laws like the civil rights, or was that the Civil Acts of Liberty or something? The Japanese reparations, that was Republican. And I'd rather deal with an overt racist than a covert one. And believe it or not, Jim Crow Joe is a very overt racist white supremacist. So I don't even know why the hell he stopped getting activated in these streets. But I digress. Go ahead, sir. My bad.
no problem. And we'll get back to you. We're gonna go original, Black Alpha, and I am woke. So original, go ahead and unmute your mic. And for those that's in the space, please go ahead and make sure you're following the host and the co-host. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube and Instagram if you have. So if you guys got an Instagram account, Facebook account, make sure you're following Newstoter. Also, you can contribute on Cash App, $Newstoter. That's $Newstoter. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you very much. Peace and reparations to everyone. Yeah, I think there has to be some kind of strategy, and the strategy has to be from the local to the national perspective. Because I was listening to the reparation the other day, and this lady from, I guess she's in Southern California. Her name is Tyra. I can't think of her last name. Anyway, DJ may know her last name. But anyway,
Tara Perry.
yeah, Tyra Perry. I don't know if she's in the room now, but she was trying to justify not pushing for reparations on the local level when in fact you have had black Democrats pushing for illegal aliens on the local, the state, and the national level. And for her to say that, that lets me know she is nothing but a straight up agent. Because you had the former mayor of Atlanta. She filed paperwork in a court of law. It says Atlanta filed court paper in support of DACA. She filed paperwork in a court of law defending the illegal aliens' right to be in this country when in fact she didn't do a damn thing for black people. And and you have this going on across the country. And I think I may have mentioned this before. There's a black boy. I'm not going to keep out of him. He's a black boy in California, in Southern California. His name is Mark Ridley Thomas. Now, Mark Ridley Thomas, he came off. He was first elected to the city council. Then he won like a county supervisor seat. When in fact, some friends of mine who live in L.A. County, not L.A. proper, they needed an issue taken care of. Mark Ridley Thomas would not assist them. And this, it was a white guy named Bear Burslowski. Although he didn't represent their district, but his vote had an effect on what went on in LA County. So he extended assistance to them. Now, something is wrong with this picture when people like this are being put in positions whereby the needs of they ignore the needs of black people, but they don't have an issue taking care of anyone else. And so I think that whatever we do, it has to be done simultaneously on the local, the state, and the national level because these people, just like me, I'm not voting for Big Swole, who's running for governor of Georgia. Oh, she's out here saying she be the first. I don't care. I'm not down with the first black nothing. I don't give a damn because she she can't say what she would do for black folks because the Democrats have told her that if you say anything about these black folks, we ain't gonna back you. And so she's following suit with the Democrats. And I'm not going for that. I mean, and when I see this, it really pisses me off that we have gone that some of us have fallen for this for so long. And now, like Sister said, we need to make some changes now. I mean, there is no time to wait. The changes have to be done now. And so, and let me share this with you. This black boy, Mark Ridley Thomas, he is under federal indictment. See, he's been stealing money. He's on indictment for bribery. Him and a former dean from USC. And see, let me show you how the trick works. See, his son was an elected assemblyman of the state of California. And I know I saved that somewhere, but I can't find it right now. But anyway, his son all of a sudden abruptly resigned from his position. And he claimed he had medical issues. But come to find out, he was put in on this bribery scheme too. And so what's been going on is that only a few people have been really benefiting from the black vote, and it's not us. So I would say to anyone that we're gonna have some kind of strategy. Like I said, I can't vote for Big Swole. I can't vote now on the Senate part down here in Georgia. Herschel Walker is a dumb piece of I don't even want to say a dumb piece of excrement. I can't vote for stupidity, no matter what it's going to do. But Warnock is not an option for me as well. So that one right there, I'm just at a standstill because you got two ignorant black boys running for a position, and neither one of them look like they want to do a damn thing for black folks. So I just say that we need to kick this thing off. And we need to kick it hard and make sure that they see and they feel what we are doing because see, I do believe because see now they're saying that Jim Crow Joe, his ratings are ticking up. And their strategy is going to be they're going to flood the airwaves with everything. Just like you had that black boy Cornell Belcher, he said you're going to have to scare the hell out of black folks to make them run to the polls. Well, I'm not sorry, but I don't have fear. You cannot invoke fear in me. That is not going to work. I'm voting in a manner whereby it is going to benefit what you call them FBA, freedmen, descendants of the black enslaved or whatever. That is how I am voting. Because I can't not stand back and think that someone else is going to do it. That's a failed strategy. So I think all of us that's in this space, we need to pick ourselves up. We need to begin to strategize when we encounter people and letting them know exactly what's going on. And let's see how we can wreck the Democratic Party. And I'll land on that.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, original. Always good to see you up in the spaces, and always enjoy you sharing the content. So definitely appreciate you. Black Alpha, go ahead and unmute your mic, brother.
Much respect, one love to everybody in the room. Shout out to the hosts, these are my fellow new black media brothers, man. You guys make sure you follow both the hosts. Real thorough, real solid brothers indeed. It's hard to follow what Original just said because he said a lot of good things, a lot of good things. But this is the $1,000,000 question: is what we do with our vote. How do we handle it? But one thing that we can all agree on is that we have to be very strategic in what we do. We got to be very thoughtful. We got to approach this with black independence, and that's the main core of no matter what you come up with. It has to be about foundational black American freedmen, as I say, certified black society. We got to make sure that no matter what we do, it's focused on that. Too long have we been voting on the needs of everybody else. And a lot of times when we vote for the needs of everybody else, it's cloaked and it's camouflaged, it's what's in the best of our interest, but in reality, it serves our welfare in no means. What I do believe is this: I'm not big on jumping from plantation to plantation. Let's make that very, very crystal clear for the whole team to understand. This thing where we're going to jump from the Republicans to the Democrats to the Democrats to the Republicans, that's like jumping from one master to the next master. Don't get confused. Just because one person makes you pick cotton 5 times a day and the other makes you pick it 4 times a day, that's not a win. That's not success for our people. What is success for our people is for us to, flourish, for us to thrive the way we are destined to. Okay, this notion where we're just going to go from the Republicans to the Democrats, I have seen Republican presidents, okay, and they don't give a damn about black people. Much salute to everybody who says, we turn up and we get into it when there is a Republican in office. I have a couple, refutes about that. First off, a lot of the reasons why black folks get woke or turned up when there's a Republican because the Democrats are saying, see, look how bad the Republicans treat y'all. Come on over here and we'll treat you a lot better. A lot of that is fabricated based upon we believe in this country that supremacy goes away when there's a Democrat and it comes back when there's a Republican. That is a notion that has been sold to us. So one of the reasons why a lot of black folks get awoke all of a sudden when there's a Republican like Trump, we're seeing now plantation to another. We can't say, well, we get woke when there's a Republican. That does not matter because that's all based on the notion that supremacy comes only from conservatives, and we all know that's a lie. Black. The liberals may be liberal when it comes to the weather. It may be liberal when it comes to immigration, when it comes to squirrels, dogs, pets, cats, all that type of shit. They'll be liberal as hell. But when it comes to anti-black racism, they all think the same. So whether one is doing it overt, one is doing it covert, one's doing it snake, one's doing it in your face, it does not matter. You're going to meet the same treatment. Trust and believe when I tell you that. Everyone understands that we are destined in this country based on the political establishment and the political structure which we all live in to be the permanent underclass. That is what they want us to be, as a permanent underclass. And both parties are willing participants and they facilitate this. Do not get it twisted. Do not think that one party is going to say, well, let's elevate black folks. And the other one says, no, let's keep them down. No, they both agree on it because they're race brothers. This ain't the WWE. They can sit here on camera all day long and act like they hate each other and they got all these problems with each other. But when it comes to us, they seem to get on the same page all the time. all the time. There's been Republicans and Democrat presidents as long as all of us have lived, and not one of them has treated us any better. Why? It's because they feel the same way about us. If Johnny and Paul both treat you like dirt, then that means Johnny and Paul think the same thing about you. And we know what that is. Nigger. All right? That's what they feel about us. So we think we're going to jump from this plantation to save us from that one. That's a mistake black folks have made for years. The reason why black folks vote for the Democratic Party because they've been taught that the conservatives are the evil bad ones. There ain't no good guys and bad guys here. All right? So what we have to do is we have to focus predominantly and specifically on what is best for us. If there are no tangibles involved for us, then we need to do two things. Either A, sit out an election, or do what I call a voter reduce strategy. If we can reduce the Democratic voting, that will cause them to lose swing votes. You've seen it go on down here. I just did an interview on my channel, Black Alpha Network, with Brother Marcel Dixon. When you seen James Clyburn pick up that phone and call Kylie Green Kamala, and he had to come and talk to her, that's because they're afraid that the black grassroots are eventually going to start cutting into the Democratic votes, and they will lose their voter block. If anyone in this room is old enough to remember the presidential election of 2000, that was Al Gore versus George W. Bush. There was a third-party candidate. His name is Ralph Nader. Ralph Nader cost Al Gore that election. Why did he do so? It's because a lot of people voted third party, which took away votes from the Democrats. And this is what has to happen. In reality, we should have been breeding, creating, and innovating our own black grassroots candidates years ago. That's what it's really about. If we had our own black grassroots candidates, we wouldn't have to worry about jumping from one plantation to the other because we could stay on our own. Everybody else has their own. Okay, we have a lot of these fake black politicians, but our politicians serve everybody other than black people. Other groups don't have that. They serve their goddamn selves. That's why they achieve things that we don't achieve. You understand where I'm coming from? So what we should have done a long time ago is get our own black grassroots candidates. And this is what we have to start doing today. We have to start breeding our own. Someone who is vetted from the community for us, by us. Once we start to present that, then we don't have to say, I'm going to vote red, I'm going to vote blue. We can vote FBA, Foundational Black American. That's what we could do. In the meantime, in between time, as we come up this ladder politically, because we are now being reprogrammed. A lot of the old folks back in the day, they programmed us with the slave mentality. We just gonna do better. We gonna vote for the same. We don't want nothing. It's pretty sad that in the 21st century, in 2020s, we got to actually teach people that you can actually have things done for you specifically. Because if anybody remembers when Obama was president, black folks was openly running around saying, well, the president can't do nothing for us specifically. Hell, black folks were saying that when Joe Biden got elected. This is the type of third grade preschool mentality that black folks had, and when it came to voting, very, very illiterate based on the coons that program folks to think this. Now, we, all of us in this space right now, we are teaching everyone and we are enlightening everyone that yes, politicians can do things for you specifically. Yes, they can, okay? We sit back and watch things get done specifically for everyone else. And what is it? It's the black Democrat who goes around and tells us that they can't do anything for us. So we have to be very cautious of these shields and remind you, the Republican shield is the same way. So as I say that to say this, we need to maintain our own black independence and think about what is best for us every single aspect of the voter system. And if it is not good for us and it does not promote our welfare or uplift us in terms of empowerment, then we need to sit out or breed your own. That is it. Either you're going to make your own money or you're going to sit back until you can make it. That's how you got to play the system. Jumping back from plantation to plantation will hurt your feelings. It will hurt your feelings. Do not run away from an anti-black racist, and you might run into another one doing that. So let's build our own black grassroots candidates. In terms of the Democratic Party, you have to put pressure on them, and you put pressure on them by either A, not voting, or reducing their vote. Because trust and believe, if we had a third party that represented us and we cut into the voter democratic demographics, they would have to come to the table. They would have to. So when we talk about reparations, we start talking about tangibles, we start talking about things that actually uplift us, we're going to have to be forced. Because remember, there's an unspoken rule in every single politician, and that is you do not do nothing for foundational black Americans. That's how you become a underclass. You don't become an underclass because people want to help you. Trust me, if somebody came right now and they said, we're going to do this, 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 and this for FBA, their asses would be out of a job. So we have to literally use the system against the system. That's the only way that you're going to ever advance politically in the United States of America. That's the only way foundational black Americans will ever get what we deserve. That's the only way we will ever achieve what we proclaim, purport, and profess that we want. So I tell everybody out there, make sure no matter what you do, stay strategic, stay focused, stay laser focused. And that way you will achieve everything that foundational black Americans deserve. Salute to the host. One love, and I will land the plane.
Enough said. everything you said, and I can pretty much agree with. I can pretty much go with. If there's one party that needs to be broken, that's the Democrat Party. Because no matter what people say, we have cachet built up with them. They need the actual black vote, so they're the ones that need to be broken and ripped apart as much as possible. Only thing I disagree with you when you're talking about the 2000 election, and it's just a slight disagreement with Ralph Nader. I live here in Florida, and Florida was the turning state. Florida was given to Al Gore. Then, like an hour later, they came back and talked about, well, there was something wrong with the counts and this and that. Florida costed Al Gore the actual presidency, and at that time, people forget that Florida's governor was a man by the name of Jeb Bush, Jethro Bush, the younger brother of George W. Bush. So yeah, things got a little bit shaky there, a little bit sneaky there. Ralph Nader, yeah, he cost some votes and whatnot for Gore, whatever, but it was Jeb Bush being the governor of Florida that helped sneak his brother up into that, and people never forgot that. We're gonna go to DJ. I know you got your hand up, so go ahead and unmute your mic, bro.
Yeah, I'm just piggyback off of brother Block Alpha said. Yeah, that's definitely on fire. And just to reiterate a lot of stuff you said, that's how ADOS split up and FBA was born. Tariq and Antonio Moore having a spat about who we should and shouldn't advocate to and for what reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now we still having the same thing several years later. It's like, where do we go from here? Henceforth, the conversation of the room. But go ahead, whoever wants to talk about it.
Yeah, it's I am woke. It's your turn. So I am woke. You can go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I'm 100% in support of everything that Black Alpha said. He actually touched on a lot of stuff that I was getting ready to say. But I also like to add that imagine if we took that 87% of black votes and put it on the table with some dollars in our agenda and presented it to a candidate, and that would let them know that we're not playing any games and we're here to win. Because when you go back into it, you look at the Asians, they put up money. White folks put up money. They LMONOPQW. Everybody, when they want something done, they put their bread up. So we go to anybody, Democrats, Republicans, say, listen, we can give you that same 87% of the vote. Here's $50 million, and here's our agenda. What you gonna do with it? Simple as that. Because politics is all about power, money and power. So when you come into the table with that money, the power will be all of those votes and that money. Now listen, this is what we want you to do, but we're not gonna give you none of this if you're not gonna lay down and get this agenda done for us. And this is another strategy along with Black Alphas that we have not done yet. We have not tried yet. You know, we have to play to win, and if we don't play to win, we're gonna keep losing. So it's all about coming up with something, and I think both of these are excellent strategies to put some fire rocks up under these politicians' ass and let them know that we're not playing any games with you guys anymore. We're over this. We're done with this, and this is what it's gonna be. Now, I ain't gonna hold you up. I voted for Trump. I absolutely did vote for him. The first time, no. The second time, yes. Because I sat back and I watched us and how we responded and how we act and the things that we've done. He left us alone. He didn't do shit for us, but he didn't do shit to us either. So, in regards to the conservatives and Republicans, I'm 100% with Freeman on that. I agree. I'm all about family. Damn right, I'm keeping all of my guns. I'm not down with the LMNOP community. I want all of these immigrants gone. I literally put up a post the other day as I was sitting in the parking lot at Walmart because I couldn't believe how many immigrants are taking over this town. It's unfreaking believable. I'm done. I'm over it. The schools, ridiculous. I'm over it. So I have no problem backing them and putting my vote in them, but they got to put reparations on the table. They got to put an anti-black crime bill on the table. That is the only way any politician is getting my vote. I'm voting for, again, what's in the best interest of the collective.
Absolutely, sister. I appreciate you. Definitely. I'm in agreement with you. I did not vote for Trump though in the last election, but I did not vote for Joe Biden either. I voted, but I did a fill-in, so I did not vote for either one of those jokers. I just could not. I couldn't mark it for either one, for Trump or Joe Biden. I'm sorry. I couldn't do it. And if Trump runs runs against Joe Biden in 2024, I'm leaving that part. If I do vote, I'm leaving that part empty as well too. I can't vote for either one of these dudes. I don't know. I just can't do it. We're gonna go to I see Angela. She was at the Raven.
Yeah, she should probably drop down. You know, her phone be janky. I'm trying to get her to fix it. But can I piggyback off of what Sister said right there?
Yeah, go ahead.
So just to reiterate again, that's the spat Antonio Moore and Tariq Nasheed had. Tariq said that we should be giving advocating for any of these parties to see what they're gonna give us. So let's go see what the Republicans talking about. Similar to what Ice Cube did, right? Many years ago. And then Tone said, for the most part, but it wasn't so much what he said; it was the way he said it to Tariq. Tone kind of did give Tariq that thug mentality. You know what I mean? The hate you get. So we can't split our party up. You know what I mean? Because that means we'll be dividing our votes up or whatever the case be. But the Democrats ain't offering us anything, so it's like, damn, what the hell are we to do? And if we're talking reparations, well, reparations is a long game, unfortunately, because most of our folks just ain't on code with that. But I think a lot of our folks, as I said earlier in the show, that most of our folks that are like in the South, maybe a little bit of the Midwest, something like that, don't understand that immigration issue is a really, really, really bad thing. They are flooding the country like it's a broken faucet turned on. And they are taking over the jobs more than ever from black men. They're setting up shop. There's no economic gain for us as black people, at least up here in the tri-state area. That shit is over with, yo. You feel what I'm saying? And it's not that we have a problem with any immigrant in general. We're empathetic people, but it's been too damn long that we've been dealing with y'all. And the one thing I understand now, since the Power 106 American Cholo issue, is that the government must have taken the immigration issue we had in the 60s and used that shit against us, because the West Coast has been dealing with the Hispanic Latino issue. While they may be cool, I could be wrong, quote unquote, just the way I'm saying it, with some certain folks over in the diaspora, while over here on the East Coast is reversed. We ain't never really been cool with the diaspora, but we've kind of been cool with South Americans or Latino Hispanics, Afro Latinos, whatever you want to call us, Ricans, whatever, right? So it's like, damn, this shit is just like really flipped on our head, and I don't even think we understand it. So in order for us to have anything in this country moving forward, because 2053 is here, we're going to have to vote to close the border. And there's no disrespect to anybody, but think about what Governor Abbott is saying. That shit really do make sense. If you're saying we have a border and we're supposed to protect it, and we have all these laws that are on the books that aren't being enforced, well, guess what, Jim Crow Joe? You don't want to send me any extra money to protect the border. You don't want to help me hire anybody. You don't want to send the National Guard. You don't want to send some military, whatever it is I'm asking for, come send it. Well, come on, y'all. Pack up on the Greyhound. We're going to drop y'all off in the nation's capital. Drop y'all off in New York, since these sanctuary cities want y'all. That's affecting us up here in the north, man. Northeast. What the hell is we supposed to do with all these people running around? And like Sister said, there is so many of them. They in the Walmarts working. They at your local wherever working. Those are jobs meant for our little FBA, ADOS kids that, turning 16, 17, need that first job at McDonald's, at Walmart, stocking the shelf for a couple hours a day, you know what I mean? Getting their little money up. You know how it was back then, but that shit ain't no more. And then all the money Jim Crow Joe sending over to Ukraine, what Americans working over there to reap the taxes back, to come back, to put back in the American economy? None. So basically this joke is doing POTUS, aka Jim Crow Joe, is funding Ukraine to fight Russia, yo. That shit is clear. yield it.
Yo, and Kip, just to jump in real quick, brother, let me tell you something. You are not lying about New York. When I got off the Long Island Railroad in Queens Village, I was like, what in the world? The next day, I'm in Forest Hills. I'm on the subway. I'm on the F train. I'm like, yo, I'm from New York. I have never seen this many immigrants ever. I was like, this is unbelievable. The most black people that I've seen was at the Rock the Bells Festival. I even tweeted it. I couldn't believe it.
Well, look, check that out. Even with that being said, even with that being said, sister, you got to remember you were in New York City at the Rock the Bells Festival. This New York City is pretty much tethered zone. You know what I'm saying? So even though they may have been some melanated, black, brown-looking folk, they most likely are black immigrants. Show. A lot of these crimes that are being committed up here in New York, black immigrants. A lot of the stuff that you saw with these so-called Asians getting beat up by black people, they were black immigrants. The situation with the chick shooting up the Dallas airport, immigrant. Come on, we could do it all day, but guess who getting the blame? All black people in general. Black people in general. So it's like, damn, what are we to do? We got to separate ourselves and start letting these white public news media know, because I be letting them know. Hey, I understand you might assume they black because of the color of their skin. Got my coat, two fingers up. You might want to do a racial background, heritage lineage background on this criminal, on this suspect, to make sure that they are black American. That's the only black. Because if you are from Jamaica, Congo, somewhere Trinidad, Tobago, or some other nationality, you are called by your country name. That's a place of origin. Black means unknown in the context we use it, not just a color. Think about that shit.
Yeah, let's get to some other, because I see some people losing connection and stuff. So Ray, go ahead. It's Ray, then Leon, and Friedman. Professor comes back up here. I'm going to go ahead and put him back in there too, because he was after Leon. But Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, real quick, Ray. I see a lot of people just dropping in and out. I don't know if it's a connection issue, but just hit me in the DM. Try to get the phone right for you. Go ahead, Ray.
No, I'm just gonna go ahead and yield the mic. I believe it was the brother Black Alpha Network that spoke earlier when they had the yellow background. He basically hit all the talking points I was gonna say. So I'm gonna go ahead and
Black Alpha already spoke it. Yeah, Black Alpha, he's out. He left. So
yeah, he wound up dropping out of the room. It seemed like a lot of people are having connections. That's all I'm saying over here too. People trying to connect. But go ahead, Ray, if you want to speak, bro.
Well, only thing I can say that he said that I would say is we have to definitely keep an eye on how they weaponize social media. Because when Trump was in office, every time he tweeted, every time he went to the bathroom, every time the man went golfing, they blew the internet up, especially on Twitter and stuff. So I feel like, in the same breath, when the Democrats are doing the things that harm us, we definitely need to say something too. That's the only thing I'm going to add. I'm going to go ahead and yield the mic.
No problem, Ray. Appreciate it. Leon, I know you've been waiting. So, Leon, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Once again, you having another good night. I guess this is going to be almost every night you're doing this, right? Around 8 o'clock?
Monday through Thursday, 8 o'clock.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't get your schedule, but now I got it. That's good. Yeah, Black Alpha hit a lot of things earlier, man, with this whole the voting thing. And also I wanted to add a little tidbit too. You got the right wing, you got the left wing. Both wings are on the same bird, if you follow what I'm saying. The bird is white supremacy. They need, and each wing needs the bird is white supremacy. The bird needs each wing to fly, to make white supremacy fly. So the object is to try to clip one of those wings, no matter if it's the right wing or the left wing. I'm talking about for us, for Black Americans, foundational Black Americans. We need to clip it. As far as at this point, maybe we need to start thinking about our own political party, and this way coming as the third, because the way things are looking right now, we're good for probably another 3 election cycles of having the deciding factor of the vote, of how it swings before the next immigrants will be the Latinos
will actually by then will actually have enough to in population wise and to legality wise to then be able to vote to be able to outnumber us. But I think we're still good for the next 3 cycles. But we're gonna have to make some serious moves within the next 3 election cycles before we lose our advantage in the vote. And I'll land there.
No doubt, no doubt. Professor, I see you got back up into space, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you get back in it because you were actually next, but you lost your connection. So go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yes, thank you, Newstoter and Kype and Sister Reparationist and everybody else, man. Much love to everybody in the room. Peace, power, and reparations, baby. We're going to get this. We just got to stay on code. Something that I just been wanting to throw out there as I look at all the spaces where we talk about this topic, because reparations is right now one of the top issues for freemen and Black Americans. This is a very important issue for us, and we got to stay on top of it. One of the things that I see here in the South, which is a tactic that they like to use here, and I'm pretty sure all the other places all across the country do the same thing, all the other states. We got, college football season is up and coming here, and it's huge here in the South. This is one of the tactics that they would use to try to draw our attention off of what's supposed to be happening with our social issues, such as reparations. I have seen it already anytime we try to deal with issues related to Black people in America. They will tell us, well, I don't want to deal with this stuff. All I want to do is watch my football and all this stuff. That's one of the tactics that you're going to see coming up here in the next few weeks because football season is about to begin. They're going to use this type of stuff to throw us off to talk about, look at such and such, look at him out there running that ball. It's almost like when football season come along, white people and Black people are just all in camaraderie together.
We on cold. We on cold. Fuck your team. Your Giants.
Exactly. We want everybody to stay aware because that's what happens. If you ever notice, that's what they
Cowboys, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They use football as a way to throw everybody's attention on what we supposed to be staying on. We got to stay on code. We got to stay on point here. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to use that type of tactic to throw us off sports. Like we all getting along. We all just one big happy family around here because we go for the Dallas Cowboys, or we go for the Carolina Panthers, or we Cleveland Browns, or we go for Auburn football, which I'm an Auburn football fan, but I digress. I went to school there. Alabama. We all know Alabama Crimson Tide is the biggest football program probably in the country. And of course, here in this state, that's what they use to throw us off. Black people and white people, boy, they be out here barbecuing together and everybody laughing and shit. But when football season is over with, everything's going to go right back to what it was before and what it always has been. I had to throw that out there, fam, because that is some of the tactics that white people would use to try to get us to forget about what we need to be focused on. That the only thing that's important to them is that we entertaining them, and that we are out here giving them what they want, which is just run the damn ball, nigga. That's it. That's what they want from us. Just want to throw that out there. I land my plane there.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you coming up into the space. I'm glad that you was able to get your connection issues straight so you can come back into space. Who's next? I believe is Freeman next. So Freeman, go ahead and unmute your mic. You there, Freeman?
Yeah, give it a second. I got the delay open on Twitter.
Yeah, he could have some connection issues as well too. Give him a second just to see if he got everything straight. Freeman, you there? I believe he may be stuck in the matrix as well. Freeman, when you get a chance to come back on, go ahead and just unmute your mic. We'll go ahead and we'll let you go ahead and get back on and get you a chance to speak again. So just circle your spot right there, brother. When you get a chance to come back on, let us know. Original, you're next. Original, you're next.
Okay. Yeah, I want to say this. I know some people, they have the thought that that we may not be a viable voting bloc, but I'm not buying that because see, and here is why. In 2016, the Republicans retained control of the Virginia legislature. There was something that went on. It was one of the assemblymen or whatever, but they had to do several recounts, and the Republicans retained control of the Virginia legislature by one vote. You can look it up. Just say Republican retained control of Virginia legislature by one vote, 2016. And see, the issue is that which one of these parties want to retain power? And see, if we work our strategy properly, we will be that deciding vote, regardless of what anyone else does. We will be that deciding vote because, as Malcolm said, the Democrats got in the White House because of you. You was that deciding vote. So let's not count ourselves out so quickly. We just need to get a better strategy to make sure that we get what we need or what we want, and everything go well for us. Because, like I said, you can look it up. 2016, the Republican retained control of the Virginia legislature by one vote. And I'm trying to find this other article. I guess I have to cite it again when you talk again, because they were talking about how black voters were growing in number in Mississippi, but they wasn't winning. And see, what they're doing in Mississippi is this lady who is, I think her name is something, Sidney Hyde Pierce. She, what's his name? Mike Esty ran against her for U.S. Senate, but she won. But see, initially, she was a Democrat. But see, she flipped and jumped over to the Republican Party because they see how the demographics are going in Mississippi, and with them it's about white control. Even some of the Democrats don't support some of the black candidates and stuff in Mississippi. Well, that's all across the country, to be honest. So all I wanted to do is become more strategic in how we do this, and we're going to be all right. I'm not going to just cast us out and say we're not going to be viable. No, because like I said, every vote counts, and somebody's going to need our vote, and I'll land on that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, original DJ. I know you had your hand up, so I'm gonna let you get to it in a second. But I gotta concur with you on that, brother. I hear people say that, and this is what people I think they're still failing to recognize that Hispanics outnumber black people now. But let's be for real too. Hispanics, this is a made up a made up. I don't know if ethnic group or whatever, because Hispanics have black people in it, it has white people in it, it has Indians in it, it has mixed people. I mean, so the whole thing itself, I mean, it's a lot of people it's a lot of Spaniard Hispanics or people with a European ancestry don't even look at the other ones as a pure Hispanic or Latin or whatever. So not only that, but I think people are failing to realize that, like you said, there's voting blocks in the country and whatnot. We look at that when we look at individual states. We talk about how crucial Ohio is into the electric and this and that, and how crucial this state is and this state and that state and whatever. People fail to realize that if you calculate all the black people in this country, it would be the biggest state in the actual country. So don't sit here and tell me that California is not important or Texas is not important to the actual damn election. Not only that, but you're talking about a group that has shown themselves to be the most loyal voting bloc in the history of the country. Okay, Hispanics are never going to vote 90% Democrat or Republican. White people are not going to vote 90% one party. Asians aren't going to vote 90% one party. There's only one group in the history of this country that has showed their ability or show that they would vote 90% or close to 90% for one party, and that's black people. Whether they were voting Republican back in the day when they were still talking about Lincoln and everything he did up until the time they started voting for FDR to now, there's only one group that's ever shown that they will vote the vast majority of their people. Cubans, in the Latin community, you might have the Cubans vote one way, the Dominicans vote one way, the Puerto Ricans vote one way. No, only black people show that they're going to vote 90%, 89, 88 to 90% for one party. So I don't even pay that any mind. Like, yeah, you may not have the hold on like the being the second largest minority group or whatever, all this and that. Your vote is still going to matter. They're still going to try to get your vote because your vote still. I mean, please, you had Asians sitting up here talking about that they was the reason that Biden won Georgia and stuff, and we know that the Asian population in Georgia ain't nothing to write home about, but they were sitting up here trying to take credit for that. So come on, please. Black people vote is still gonna matter. Your vote gonna matter more than Asians. It's gonna matter more than the LGBTQ. It's gonna matter more than the Afghans, the Arabs, and all the rest of them. So please spare me with that. Like please, like this, we buy into this stuff like that. The damn world is ending and whatnot, and all this other this nonsense, man. Please, it's still gonna matter. It's always gonna matter. DJ, go ahead. I know you was gonna say something.
Yeah, I might have had my hand up on mistake, but what you think about, since you just said what you said, what you think about the comment by Hector Lewis Alamo up there in the Jumbotron top left side, bro?
Let me check that out. I didn't even see that. Hector Lewis. Let me check. Latinos are on the verge of really stepping into our own in this country, so we should expect resistance. Okay. I mean, what else would Hector say? I mean,
well, you clicked I guess the tweet and we read the comments off people just commenting down there.
Oh my God.
Hey, all I got to say, guys, is I really want ICE to step up their operations, to gather up all of these people as much as they can. I'm just being dead serious, man. These people are got to be put under control. They have taken over the borders, and these agents. I saw a video. I think it was yesterday. A video down there in some part of Texas, where one of the border patrol agents just opened the gate up for them and just let them on in, man. Joe Biden, man, this dude. I'm telling you, if I could go up there right now and talk to this dude, I would cuss the dude out. I'm sorry, I just would. Because he's allowing this to happen, and he's doing this to the very people that put him in office. And I think the voting percentage was like 92 to like 97%. Black people went out and voted for Joe Biden. So we came out in large numbers to vote for this guy. He gave, I think, he didn't give many promises, but he gave two main promises, which was on the police reform issue and the student loan debt cancellation, which would be two main issues that would affect Black people.
I hate, not to cut you off, brother, but I hate when they start talking about the student loan debt, because I guarantee you more white people in this country, and I know that you might say a higher percentage of black people might owe more, but there's more white people that's got student debt loan than black people, yet they constantly, it's certain issues like whenever they start talking about doing something for black people, it's always a topic that covers everybody. You know, when they talk about student loan or criminal justice or this reform and this and that, I get with the police reform, but when they start talking about wide issues and stuff like that, most of the time it covers everybody in the nation. They rarely talk about something that's going to cover just specifically black people. So I hate when they throw stuff like in there.
I agree, because the student loan issue is an issue that affects everybody. I guess it affects us more only on a standpoint that because we don't have the economic power base that the other groups have. So I think that's where they're coming from when they give those numbers, because they put out some number, and I don't know if that number is true or not, y'all, but I think it came from what's that woman's name? Nina Simone. I think it came from her, something about 40% of these loans affect Black women. And because Black women are going to college more than we Black men. I mean, that's
it's definitely hurting Black women more than Black men. But right, go ahead and carry on.
But they put the number out there that 40% of this is affecting Black women. Now, Black women might think differently about that. They might say, no, that's not true, but that is the number they are putting out there. Now, those were the two issues that got Black people to the polls on the federal level. But see, we messing up at is also on the state level. Is we don't go out and vote in the local elections, and that's killing us too as Black people in this nation. We for whatever reason, and I think I have said this in other spaces that when I spoke to my grandmother about this type of voting years ago, she said that Black people will vote federal mainly because we feel protected by the federal government due to the civil rights and all the different anti-lynching or the issue of anti-lynching laws, all that different stuff that comes up that is historical. The federal government is seen as more of a protective element for us versus the state that was like, okay, well, we want you guys just to be in slavery. See? So that was her answer to me back years ago. But we got to change that attitude because it's the state that's killing us too. The people that's making decisions that affect us daily in our state, we definitely need to change that. And I land my plane there.
Definitely. For everybody that's in the spot, make sure you guys are following Newstoter and the host and the co-host. Make sure that you guys visit newstoter.com daily, the largest curator of Black news today in America, the largest Black-owned news curation platform today in America. Support us on Cash App, $Newstoter. That is $Newstoter. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you also check out the site and subscribe to our newsletter as well. Follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. So please definitely support the new Black media, support Black content. We put out content every day, massive amount of content just for everybody to check out here on Twitter. So definitely make sure you're supporting a Black-owned business, a Black-owned American business at that. Support your news outlets as much as you can, people. Please do that. We definitely need your help. We definitely need your support as much as possible. Tonight I heard some great points. Angela, she made some great points. Sister is definitely fiery. She's definitely sharp and witty, and she made some excellent points. Black Alpha, I thought he and I Am Woke, they made some great points as well too. I'm to the point like this here, like I never tell anybody, and I've never told anybody in my family. And that's one thing we know with older Black people, especially the baby boomers, they'll tell you in a heartbeat what you should do, who you should vote for. Like their loyalty to the Democratic Party is just unwavering. No matter what they've seen in their lifetime, I'm gonna vote blue. I'm gonna vote blue. So I mean, me, I just can't go along with that anymore. I pretty much have to I have to hear what people say. I voted. If I was in South Carolina, I would have voted for Marcel, not because he was a Democrat, not because he was Black, but the actual platform that the man was talking about. If you're talking about voting for somebody like that, be it Republican, Democrat, Independent, I could definitely get behind it. If that person is not speaking anything in your local area, if you hear candidates and whatnot, because we have candidates, we have elections coming up, and I haven't heard any Black candidate, whether it's just somebody running for commissioner, say anything with an empowering Black agenda, anything. Well, we're going to do this for the Black people in our city. We're going to do this for the Black kids. We're going to do this for Black mothers. We're going to do this for Black fathers. We're going to do this for Black business. I have not heard that. So since I don't hear that, why should I go out and cast a vote for this person simply because this person is Black or this person is a Democrat? That's not an intelligent thing to do. What is this person going to do when they get in the office? Except go along with the status quo. This person isn't looking to make changes or this and that, but this person is talking about doing something that's all encompassing. I understand that if you're a politician that you can't just sit specifically say, I'm going to only do stuff for Black people all the time, but you can sit up here in these cities, and the city I live in is 35% Black. You can sit up here and say that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do some things for Black people because the Black vote does matter in this city. You can't just sit up here and just ignore it. You just can't sit up here and act like it's not real. And I don't hear that on the local level. Forget the national, on the local level. I haven't heard one Black person in my city running. People that have powerful positions as commissioners and this and that. I have not heard them say what they're going to do. I never hear anybody say we're going to start doing group economics. We're going to start a black investing class. We're going to start buying up some of these vacant lots and this property and this and that. We're going to start paying for child care for the mothers and stuff like that. We're gonna do. I don't hear any of this kind of stuff. Yeah, we're supposed to just throw our loyalty behind somebody simply because they're a black face or because they were the party that we've given our all to for 60 years. Nah, those days for me are done. It's what have you done for me lately? What can you do for me? How can you better my situation? If you got a loss of words and you gotta think real hard and you're not entirely sure, or you've been given your orders by a boss, not to mention specific things that you can do for the people with the pigment in their color, then we got a problem here. And I'm not finna go for it. Straight up. I'm not finna sit up here and play games with you and go along with this stuff that we've been going along for 60 years now. Harvey, I see you got your hand up. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, thank you, brothers and sisters, and I really appreciate this space and heard so many good things from everybody tonight. I'm sorry I've just been in and out because I've been kind of busy listening to everything, but everything I've heard has just been fabulous and great. Hey, but I just want to say, piggybacking on your thoughts here, don't wait for these people to come up and say things. Don't do it. Listen, I've been engaged at the community level, politically level for quite a number of years. You can't wait for them to say nothing. You got to go and put this in their face. And I was trying to say in another thread the other day that we should get out and speak with these candidates. I'm not talking about talking to them from a distance, just listen to what they're saying. You got to get out and get in their face, sit down with them, across from the table, take them out for coffee, whatever the case is, and you put down an agenda. And you get their affirmation on the agenda. And then the second thing is, once that agenda is affirmed, then it's time to go public with that. They have to stand up. They have to put up or shut up. And this is the way that you've got to do this. You got to force their hand. There's a couple of things I learned in my life, and one thing I learned from a crook, and one of the worst lessons that I learned, but that crook said, if it ain't written, it ain't real. And you got to put this thing down to where it's written, where they sign on to it, and they're willing to flash this and show this to the public. And this is how it's done. And it's our opportunity to do it because everybody's trying to come off as if they're just so compassionate and they're just so pro-black. Well, we need to put the pro-black agenda in front of every one of them and put our issues in front of every one of them, Democrat, Republican alike. And we need to force their hand. And we need to expose, their position afterwards. And you don't have to be mean to do that, but you just tell it like it is. That this one is for this and this one is not. And go into reasons, why, when, and where. And that's the only thing that's going to move the needle. It's not going to be about friendship. It's not going to be about color of skin or anything like that. But it's going to be solely focused on our issues. And I hate to sound selfish, but the thing that we must do is we must, in this moment, be selfish for us because nobody else, as we have seen, is going to come to our rescue. Now, Lyndon B. Johnson, he fooled everybody, signing civil rights. He knew what he was doing. He said, shoot, we got to do this. He said, with these black folks, and, he was calling us niggers, he said, they're going to vote for us forever. That was their strategy. They had a plan. Well, it's time. And what I've heard the brothers and sisters say tonight, that it's time to use and implement a strategy. And believe me, we are the most strategic people on earth. And it's time for us to use our creativity and strategic advantage, our leverage in this particular moment. But this moment may not come back again. But we have leverage in this moment. We've got people crying at high levels about immigration. They're saying on the news that it's an invasion. These people believe, and we see and know, that we are being invaded. It's time for us. That's an issue that suits us and helps us further down the line because we know exactly what that means to our community. It's time for us to communicate that to these politicians or whoever else is trying to get in office. And if they can't see our position on that, then we need to make that known, that they're not who, they're trying to convince the public that they are. Like I said, We are not mean people either. That's one thing I found out about black folks. We're not mean people. We give folks the benefit of the doubt, even against, things that slap us in the face, and we still keep getting up, and we still keep saying, okay, well, maybe you're going to do right. And we are some good-hearted and good-natured people, and I think our only fault is we give people too many chances. Well, now it's time to bring that to the close and have people, like I said, put up or shut up. But nevertheless, I thank you for this space. Listen, we just stick with it. I'm in my little area of the world here. We got low information. Somebody was talking about voting and percentages. Listen, I'm living in one of the 15 top worst zip codes in the country. And we have an election, a local election. And out of all the black folks that, have a high percentage in this particular zip code, if you get 1,000 of us to vote on an issue, you've done good. And a whole election, that's crazy. People sitting there in poverty, 42%, unemployment, 50% just about. And you can't get 1,000 people out to vote for their own. It's crazy. But we've got to take it and we got to push it to the next level and stay on top of it and take advantage of this time. So I encourage each one of you, stick with it, get out and do it, make it happen. I believe, God, that is our time. All right, and thank you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming and sharing this, sharing some information with us. We're gonna get ready to close it down. I'm gonna give because we're gonna get ready to close it down. I believe American it is. American will give you a couple minutes, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna close the space out for tonight. So, American, I believe it's American. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you. Excellent space. I love what Angela was saying. I say we got to tear them down. We built this house. That Democratic stronghold that they have, we built that, and everybody else is riding off of that. I feel like it's time to drain them all. And these are the people that we put in the Black Caucus as well, guys. They have to go. My thing is this also. I understand whoever the Republicans, are. We know who they are. But hell, we don't really know them like that. Nor do we really know the Democrats like that. We would just talk to vote for them. Blue no matter who. So my thing is to really start vetting these candidates, and going after all of them. I think that we have to give the Democrats a hardcore run for their money for a generation or two. They have had 60 years, is it? And they talk bad to us from day one. And I believe that they never had any heart of doing anything for us. And that's the hardcore part that we don't understand. They probably looked at Martin Luther King as they were signing that stuff and laughed like, shit, what that guy say on Four Brothers? Hell, I never knew it was such thing as a free lunch. Laughing and shit, dogging us out. So with that being said, I can't stand the Democrats. I want to see them fail. He led us in that burning house, as we talk about Martin, right? I want to see that motherfucker fall. We've been keeping it dousing it out. Every time a fire comes on, we dousing it, including going to other places, dousing their fires out. It's time to let them fall for good. They told us who they are. They told us, hey, you let me back up in this bad boy. I'm going to push the LGBTQIA on your babies. I am going to mass incarcerate your little boys and girls. I'm going to shoot you and then tell you I'm going to give you a crime bill. And then when I give you the crime bill, it's going to say, it's going to start off talking about black folks. Then once you read it, you're going to find out it's for everybody else but you. And then not only that, I'm going to douse you with the people that I want to come in because I need a new America because, nigga, I'm tired of your ass. I ain't promised you nothing. I never really wanted to be with you. Shit, I've been playing you for this whole time. You allowed the shit, and now you want to wake up and talk crazy to me? Man, bitch, get up out of here. It's been 60 years, and you allowed me to whoop your ass, take everything from you. Now you mad at me. You the fool. And that's where we at now. So we've been the fool for the longest. Now we waking up, and we're going to fight back like Tina did Ike, supposedly. Thank you.
Definitely great. I'm going to go ahead. I see you had your hand up, so I'm going to go ahead and let you say something real quick, and then that's going to be it. We're going to give it to DJ, and then we're going to close it out for the night. I want to give a shout-out to Leon for also contributing on Cash App. Thank you, Leon. Ray, go ahead and get your say in.
I'm gonna be real quick. I just had a question. I heard Brother Harvey said that only 1,000 people or so came out. I'm just asking, your opinion. Do you think that to me sounds like a people that are just done with the political parties altogether? If you have important issues, you can only get 1,000 people to come out. I land my plane.
Yeah, that sounds like a defeated group of people who definitely downtrodden. I would say that would have been a great strategy to employ, but I don't believe that was any strategy behind that one. That just seemed like a group of people that just done been beat on, man, and just done gave up. It looks like or whatever. The brother didn't say he didn't say exactly what city he was in or whatever, but definitely, definitely sound like a group of people who done pretty much just gave up on the process altogether, which the way the process treats you and stuff like that, man, I mean, it's really hard to have much faith in it as well. So
yeah, because if you vote for the Democrats, you obviously they aren't on our side, and the Republicans are so openly racist. It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
absolutely, absolutely. And like I say, man, I mean, myself, I can't no longer I just can't have a blindfold on and just get spun around and just hit the wall trying to find the door or whatever. So I can't do that no more myself. So I'm not gonna tell anybody what they should do politically. I can just speak for myself, and for myself, no, I'm not gonna just be throwing votes away just to throw it away and say, yeah, I did my civic duty or whatnot. What the hell does your civic duty mean when you know the people not gonna do anything for you or yours? So, DJ, go ahead, man, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and get your saying, and we're gonna close it out for the night. Another great space once again.
Sure. I wasn't sure if Brother Freeman came back, and I'm not sure if you saw Sister Juicy Jeans up here. Did she want to speak? Juicy Jeans or Freeman, if y'all came back or y'all there, but I guess not. But
yeah, we're gonna go ahead and.
I'm sorry, I didn't know the room, the space was limited. Hey, everybody. Shout out to Newstoter, but I'm gonna probably come in and catch the next one. But the room was amazing, and I'm really appreciative of your spaces. So I just want to say that.
Yeah, if you want to say something real quick, sister, you can go ahead and say something. If not, then you can just next time because we do it Monday through Thursday. So if you don't want to say anything right now, I understand.
My whole perspective in regards to grassrooting our candidates, I really feel like the time is now to become more civically responsible, civically engaged, because just as a people, we need more improvement in that area. I believe that does come with maturity and things like that. And then we also have to encourage that to our younger generations. We just don't encourage civic responsibility or civic engagement. Until now, we have a whole lot to vote for at this point. And we just haven't been in a place of supporting candidates on either side. And I do believe Black American policies are bipartisan. It doesn't matter if they're Democratic or Republican. I do align more with conservative views, but that doesn't mean that I'm automatically a Trumpetarian or Republicanian or whatever people want to place when you think of Black Americans being more conservative. I do encourage those who do have the opportunity. I just wanted to say that I did sign up for Tesla's political boot camp that she's having September 10th here in Atlanta, Georgia. It is free. Revolt TV sponsored Pop Galleria. There's breakfast, lunch. I mean, they got the whole 9 yards. There's different things that we can take advantage of if we do want to step into these spaces. But I do believe at the grassroots, we need to educate ourselves, do a lot more research. So when we do approach the people, we do approach the public, we know how to adequately express our political views and ambitions and policies that resonate with them. We can't create a policy for Black people and Black Americans if we don't really clearly understand their needs. So I feel like that's, the blueprint that Marcel put out, that we really need to kind of, use that as a blueprint when we are pursuing political careers. And I just wanted to learn that there.
No problem. Thank you, sister. Thank you for coming in. I don't know how much of the little podcast you caught, but appreciate you coming in, and definitely feel free to stop by whenever you have a moment. If you can't catch us live, you can always catch a recording. We try to go ahead and record it, keep it recording. So a lot of our people, a lot of times they actually catch the recording more than actually show up. So appreciate you for coming in. DJ, I'm gonna go ahead and let you close it out. When you get a chance, check your DM as well too.
For sure, bro. Appreciate you. Yeah, appreciate that, Juicy Genius. That's some fire stuff because I'm constantly telling our folks, we wasn't really taught civics really in school. For those that were taught, it's like, some of that information, you never retain it all. You got to constantly reinvigorate yourself, re-educate yourself. So, yeah, nobody can tell anybody what they do with your own personal vote. That is a personal choice at the end of the day. But if y'all really knew what was going on, you'll vote. You'll be getting out here to vote, man. If you really knew. But unfortunately, it's like, it's not us here on the line. It's just the folks down in the streets. When you try to speak to them, like, Brother Harvey said, you're getting all the resistance, man. Sister Iron Woke, Illionaire, when she came to New York, to the Rock the Bells concert, you see all these folks from all across the world, but you don't really see too many black folks, and the ones that's black, piggyback off of that, they could be black immigrant. You feel what I'm saying? And they are pretty much outnumber us here in the Northeast, I believe, in my opinion, at least in the cities anyway. New York City, not so much New York State, certain parts of Jersey. Well, I'm going to say the whole Jersey, because Newark wound up becoming a sanctuary city because of Mayor Ras Baraka, who's a coon, by the way, you know what I mean? And the people voted this fool right back in, knowing damn well he's selling us out. And he FBA 80 Negro, you know what I'm saying? Straight from the block, Clayton Avenue, Elizabeth, you know what I'm saying? So if our own peoples like him is selling us out, it's like, damn, we ain't got nobody to turn to, at least especially on the Democratic side. So I wish we could have had more time to do this. Maybe I'll try to do a lot later, but I ain't got the time right now. But I wish folks would have spoke more to the room. Should you vote or not vote? You know what I'm saying? And if you are going to vote, what is it that you're voting for? Because we do understand from a national perspective and a local perspective that there are things nationally and locally we always have to consider going to the polls for. You want to go vote for the local sheriff, the dog catcher, the comptroller, aka the person who controls the money. You know what I'm saying? You need to go vote for your town councilmen and women, the board of education, and forget voting for people. A lot of the times nowadays, there are questionnaires on these voting ballots. They send it to your house, and a lot of times we don't even look at it. They catch me out there a lot of times. So what I wanted to say earlier, now I remember why I had my hand up, was to tell a story that when I went to go vote earlier in May for, whoever's going to be running as a candidate in the midterms or whatever. So I wound up making it to my polling station, right before 8 o'clock. They, the old heads and then the women, black women, and I know they Freeman American Negroes, you know what I mean? Because we all from the same block. I know most of these women. So, hurry up, come on in, go ahead, you got to do a write-in or whatever. All right, no problem. You got to do a fill-in or whatever because we're shutting the machine down, so you got to do a paper ballot or whatever. So, wound up, I said, all right, no problem. I wanted to write in my candidate anyway. I said that to the lady. And she looked at me, yo, and this is an old head sister. Man, I'm telling you, if I could read her thoughts, it would have been, nigga, what the fuck you doing that for? You know what I'm saying? Because these Democrats don't have our best interests at heart, big mom. You know what I mean? But I didn't say nothing, just did what I did. When I tell you, Topic, y'all, she was looking right over my shoulder like, what you writing in there? You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, hold on a minute. I thought this was a closed curtain, one person only party. You know what I'm saying? But, just thinking in my head or whatever. But I did wind up speaking to most of them about reparations. And out of, I'm going to say 7 women that was there, only one of them really spoke to me. He was like, yeah, what are you talking about? Oh, and jotted down the information and said, thank you. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? So if you catch one, you can catch another one. You know what I'm saying? Each one teach one. By one person you affect with the information, it'll eventually pass itself down the line. But unfortunately, we are running out of time, and we need to work a little bit faster, regardless if we voting to close the border or we asking for tangibles. We just need to work faster, because in my opinion, 2053 came the day the pandemic hit, yo. It's over with for a lot of us, you know what I mean? And a lot of us ain't gonna make it the next 2 years dealing with Jim Crow Joe. We need our money right now, because I know I need my bread. I don't want my business to fail that I worked hard for 30 years. I didn't get a triple P loan because I ain't feel like dealing with that shit. And now you see all the jokers that took the loans out, where they headed to? Jail. Yo, Dev.
All right. I want to thank everybody who came to the space tonight. We had a great space once again. having great spaces pretty much all the time, even if it's a smaller space or big space. It don't matter the size. The space is always pretty entertaining. So for you guys that don't know, make sure you guys check us out Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we go on. We go live. We have different topics. We try to keep it fresh as much as possible. I appreciate everybody who came into the space tonight. Tomorrow, my boy Ray has a space tomorrow at 6 p.m. Ray, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to catch it from the beginning, so hopefully, if I don't catch it, I will definitely listen to the recording. I definitely will try to catch as much as I can. Like I say, hopefully you'll be on for a little while so I can catch your space. I haven't been on one of your spaces. Ray has been on the Newstoter spaces since the beginning. I really appreciate this brother supporting the platform and whatnot. So you guys make sure you go ahead. I already tweeted it while this space was out. I'll tweet it again. So you guys definitely catch my man Ray in his space. Definitely intelligent brother, always been a supporter. Brought Judge Joe Brown here numerous times to the Newstoter space, so definitely appreciate him and everything he's done to try to get us out there. He supports the new black media, and he definitely supports Newstoter, and I definitely appreciate that brother for that. I appreciate everybody in this space tonight, everybody who contributed to the conversation, those who just listened, to those who shared it out. Thank you guys. Make sure you go ahead and tweet it out tomorrow so your followers, that they didn't get a chance to catch it, they can go ahead and catch the recording or whatever. Like I said, we try to have different topics, different subjects. Tonight was a great one. I'm definitely not against the boycott. If that's what people want to do, I don't have a problem with that. If people want to vote, hey, that's your decision as well too. I believe that we should use any means, like Malcolm said, to go ahead and get our point across. And if that means sticking it to the voter process and just leaving it all together, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with the new black media was saying in terms of if the tangibles ain't on the table, then you got to look elsewhere. I'm not going to repeat the same process that black people have been repeating for the past 60 years. I'm not anybody's sucker or fool or anything else. I'm not here to be pimp, and I'm not going to allow. I'm not raising my kids to the same way either. So I'm definitely, like I said, appreciative of everybody who came. We will definitely be back Monday. Sometimes we do one Sunday, but I'm not sure we'll do one this Sunday. But we will definitely be back Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you guys definitely catch us. Follow us on YouTube. I hate when I forget to put the YouTube channel there. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. If you guys have $1 that you'd like to contribute to the new black media, the largest black curator of news today, you can do that on Cash App. It is $Newstoter. $Newstoter. I'll say that one more time. $Newstoter. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you visit newstoter.com daily. We need visitors. We need people with eyes on the content, a massive amount of content, and we need your support. So definitely go ahead and visit that website daily. Once again, that is newstoter.com. Newstoter.com. We will see you guys either Sunday or Monday, but more likely Monday. So you guys have a good holiday, and we will see you then.
Peace, and check the Jumbotron, y'all. Check the Jumbotron. Peace. Reparations up.